Good morning. Thank you very much, Barry. I'd like to welcome Dan Shapiro, the U.S. Ambassador. Actually, I don't prepare myself for a conference like that because I know that at the last moment there will be always something that will take most of the attention from the very topic that I prepared myself for. And I was not surprised this time, as it happened so many times in the past. Because in the last 24 hours, there were at least three events in the media, and not only in the media, which actually makes this my speech almost irrelevant. And I mean, prepared speech. You probably saw two of them on television. The third you didn't see, but it's still there. And I mean the hunger strike of the administrative detainees in Israeli jails, in addition to two major media events which took place yesterday in Israel. One in the in the airport, and the other somewhere in the Bekaa Valley. I don't know if you mentioned that earlier, but I think that it deserves some discussion this morning when we deal with Israel delegitimization. I believe that the three of them together explain why we have to deal differently with the issue of Israel delegitimization, and that we have to be aware of the new war that we are engaged in. So many mistakes which I noticed in the way Israel handled both the flotilla, I thought, no, the flotilla was in the sea, but how, flotilla, I love this, I love flotilla, and I love it. It's a new word in English, no, right? It's a new word in English, you see? You don't have enough words in English, you need another one. Give us a few in Hebrew for a change. Yeah, we have only 400 words in Hebrew, 1,000 words in Hebrew as far as I know, and 1 million in English. It's not fair. Anyhow, we have a word in Hebrew, but we're not in English, but now we have it in English too. The flotilla was handled in the wrong way by the government, actually against the principles how you engage with this continuing attack on Israel. The fact is that a new war which was engaged by the Palestinians and their supporters, mainly in Europe, some in America, but mainly in Europe, the left organizations that supported Israel for many years, but then they changed their mind. We don't deal with that right now, but it's a very fact now. This new coalition, they run a war which is not violent against Israel. This is a non-violent war. And the very fact is that Israel has not learned the lessons from the past, and instead of preparing itself for a non-violent war, we answer this new challenge by the same way we answer the past challenges, which were violent. So we fight the present and the future war in the means which fit the past war. This is what happened yesterday in Lod Airport and in the Bekaa Valley. When we noticed that few hundred activists, peace activists, whatever, left activists, you call them whatever you want, wanted to come to Israel, we shouldn't call into the airport 1,000 or whatever number of police officers in their uniform and making the airport look like a police station. This is the wrong way. We should, if you could stop them in Europe, fine, okay. But in the airport itself, when the engagement was in front of cameras, which was public, and the media attended that event this way or another, even if it was not physically present, it was covered by the media. The way the government, the police approached it was the wrong way. We gave it much more exposure than it really it was, and we played into their hands. What they were looking for is exactly what we did. We made it a major media event. For 24 hours, the Israeli public was bombarded by statements by the government, and finally by a letter probably written by the prime minister of one of his staff, which we discussed earlier with Professor Nahor, which was not a proper letter as far as I can see. and that was given more attention to this small event proportionally. And then it was followed by huge presence of the police and the Minister of Internal Security and the Chief Inspector of the Police. All of them came to the airport to do what? To do what? They were not armed. Those who came finally were not armed. They didn't carry any weapons. This is not Kozo Okamoto. They came to the airport, take them peacefully to a bus, and let them go to Bethlehem, and that's over. They want to be in Bethlehem, let them be in Bethlehem. Who cares? I mean, from that moment, this is not our concern, it is Palestinian Authority concern. The fact that when they were stopped at the airport, arrested at the airport, and now being sent back to their home countries just created much more media attention and gave it much more important than it was really worthy. This was not the right approach to a non-violent war. This is not the right approach. We have to learn that we live in a new world. In a new world, we have to behave according to the new world and not according to the past world. The same applies to the incident in the Bekaa. What was there? 200 bike riders were riding from one point to another. Was it legal or not legal? They were stopped by army officers. Okay, so far so good. I actually don't know the background. And by the way, the background is totally irrelevant. What was left and what is left and what will be left in the public memory is the picture or the image of one single army officer hitting this Danish citizen on his face with his rifle, with his gun. This is it. Never mind what happened before. What was the context? Who cares for the context? We teach the whole world the context, and I gave a lot of attention to the context, but that doesn't matter. The world has 5 seconds or 10 seconds to pay attention to that, and what will be shown and what was shown on televisions across the world, I don't know how many times, I don't count it, but I guess in many places, was a picture of an Israeli army officer and a senior army officer hitting this civilian. We should avoid incidents where civilians are engaging themselves into military. This is the worst. That's exactly what happened in the flotilla. In the flotilla, it was also badly managed by the government in the same situation. And we are now expecting to the state controller report to give us a full understanding what happened there. But we don't need the state controller. We do understand that we could and we should stop those ships at the time in the sea. Barry gave me at the time, remember, all the judicial explanations why it was done. I guess Professor Shalev can help us too. And this is fine. We were allowed to stop the ships in the sea. By the way, it's not the same. The ships, the flotilla and the flotilla were not in the same situation. In the flotilla, we didn't know what they were carrying, so they were even more justified. But we should find a way to stop them in the sea without killing 9 people. Once the commando soldiers were on board, okay, they had to fire, and this was the outcome. But we could avoid it if we were just thinking in advance what was the situation and what they were looking for. We played into their hands. That's exactly what they were looking for, that the Israeli army will jump on board of those ships, and this is it. And from that on, it ran out of control. And it was all pictured, or pictures were taken, and all the images were out right away. And again, we made a mistake, terrible mistake, because their pictures, their story came out immediately from the board of the Marmara itself, where there was a Turkish television crew who was waiting for those pictures to come, while the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF spokesman, they admitted later that they was too slow. Our version came out a few hours later. And in this game, if you don't hit the headlines first, you lose it, just immediately. And their story came out at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and ours came at 3 o'clock p.m. In those hours, they were the only ones in the air, almost, especially visually. And this was enough. They played the game, and we were just defending ourselves later, giving all the explanation in the world, and we were right. And we were right even in using our guns, I mean the commando's gun, they were right. But this was too late. And too late in this game is too bad. And the last story which I saw yesterday in the media was the hunger strike of the administrative detainees. 2 of them already succeeded in previous time, I mean in the past few months, and now hundreds of them continue. And we don't have an answer. We don't have an answer to the general situation why we have to detain so many people. That's one question. And the other one, how do you react? How do you react? At the time, at the beginning, usually there's no much attention, not media and not by human rights organizations, that's fine. But after some time, it becomes a major issue. And we don't have an answer why, A, we detain so many people administratively in Israel, and B, how do we react? What action we can do in order to stop it? It's not violent. There's no revolt in Jersey. What to do? I was waiting for you so long it took you to answer me. So this is 10 minutes late. It's like the Israeli Hasbara, Professor Kedar. It's like the Israeli Hasbara, always late. Very good, but always late. No, I know there are ways to handle it, but this doesn't matter. It all goes back to the question how it looks on the media, and do we have any answer how to do this? We have to work very hard in order to develop the tools of the new war and how to create the Israeli new public diplomacy. Actually, we can learn from other states, from the Americans, from the Brits, from the French. Of course, they are not engaged in a similar war. We know where we are. We know where they are. But they are so, at the same time, the situation in Afghanistan or the situation in Iraq at the time is not so different than what we had during the first and especially the second Intifada. And they have gone a long way, and especially the fight against terror. This is something very similar to what we are experiencing here. And they developed a new public diplomacy to a certain level that we should just look at what they did and draw the conclusions. We should give public diplomacy much higher attention in what we do in our country. Sometimes we say, who cares, Hasbara is nothing. It's not so. It is very important because sometimes you win the war in the battlefield and you lose it later on in the media and elsewhere. And what really stays in the public mind and public memory is not what happened, but how it looked like and what effect it left on your public opinion, on their public opinion, and on the world public opinion. And if you don't connect those efforts together, the operational and the psychological, if you don't put it in one major operation, you just lose one of them. Since we don't want to lose the operational one, and we hopefully would not, then we have to pay attention to the other and to give it the same importance. It has to come from the highest echelon of the Israeli political and military, or the highest echelon, military and political echelon in Israel. Both of them should be aware of this combined war. The military, the diplomatic, the public diplomacy, the economic, the culture, all of them are linked together to the same. And it's not because we initiate this war, it's because they realized that if they cannot win the war against Israel in the battlefield, they will choose other arenas and they'll do as good as they did at the time. And they can harm Israel if they don't, thank God, they don't kill or wound Israelis in civilian areas or in the military, which is fine. But they can cause a lot of damage to Israel if they boycott certain Israeli company, or if they divest their money from Israel, or if they convince people not to visit Israel, or to boycott a certain cultural event, and so on and so forth. And it has the same impact. And it may lead to the same outcome, that the Palestinian will gain legitimization, and Israel, at the same time, will be delegitimized. So we have to pay more attention and to give the right place and to spend money and financially, and also in terms of putting these efforts in the right proportion in the way the government and especially the Prime Minister handled those events. I guess I have to finish my remarks. So I think that what we have to conclude from what happened yesterday is that we are slow. We are not acting proportionally. We do not understand yet the new war, and we have to reorganize the government operation in order to be ready. And I assure you, this is not the last attempts, even this year. I know they are preparing more flotilla and more other operations from this, similar ones, and we have to be prepared, and we have to act according to the new rules of the war and not to the old ones that were right at the time but not right for today's war. Thank you very much.